It's beautiful. It's like it's a place where I can walk around and not feel like a complete weirdo. Like sometimes I'll walk around the Walmart with my face paint and secret shoppers will be following me around. Not today. I fit just in.
So, it's a fun question that we're here at Comic-Con. Is there something that you nerd out about that we'd be surprised to know?
I don't know. I just like seeing all like the new stuff.
Yeah.
Like even rolling up to the building, there was like the poster for the American Horror Stories, and I was like, oh, that looks sick as shit. Like, but besides that, I just like taking it all in. Like I haven't done any of these, so it's like really cool to explore and just check out everything. So see all the cool ass costumes.
Absolutely.
Sounds good. I understand that you have a history in film production. So you mentioned American Horror Story. Are you more interested in directing, producing, or do you want to do any acting yourself?
See, I went to film school in Arizona until I dropped out to do wrestling because they wouldn't let me do like my type of films. I was like, man, all these weird films and stuff. So I would like to do screenwriting and directing, but also acting too. Like I want to do it all, but like mainly like screenwriting and directing. And in AEW, when I'm like coming out to the ring, normally we'll make these like little vignette videos that are like a minute. Yeah, I'll direct those and stuff. So it's cool. It's like I get to like kind of practice, but I've done some screenwriting. I just got to actually make the film now. So that's my upcoming goal is to make my first full-length film.
Wow.
So what's the favorite one that you've directed? I didn't know that you did direct those promos because it's pretty cool.
Yeah, my favorite one is when we set up a mock funeral.
Okay, yeah.
And then what you don't see is I jumped my house in a Jeep, and it's a 96-foot jump. We built this huge dirt jump, and I aired over my house in the Jeep and crashed into these mobile home trailers. That was a pretty sketchy one, and I know leading up to it, Tony Khan, who owns AEW, was like, does it have to be you driving? And I'm like, yeah, like I can't like have a stunt double. That's not, I gotta do my stunts. So that was like my favorite that we did. So it was pretty much like the set was like me crashing into a funeral.
So, I mean, what has it been like for you to witness the fan reaction to AEW? Because it just continues to grow and grow in popularity.
It's amazing for me to watch it from being there since day one, and to be on the independents, like small like circuits, and all of a sudden like get onto national TV, and then all of a sudden watching the kids like paint their face like me and all these people. Like it's awesome to see because it's a platform where we really can express ourselves. Like Darby Allin can really be Darby Allin. Who you see out there is 100% me. So it's real cool to like be there and watch the fans like do it. So
I wanted to ask you about your time teaming with Sting. How has that influenced your style or your concept of wrestling? Were you a fan going into it, or was it something that they felt behind the scenes with the face paint they should team you up? I mean,
see, at first I didn't know what to expect, and I was always a fan of Sting, so when we got paired together, what people don't really see behind the scenes is like me and Sting's like friendship, our bond. So a lot of people are like, oh, they're just paired because they have face paint, but what they don't see is like Sting, because when we were doing, Jacksonville, the pandemic, I would change in the boiler room, and then Sting walked by one day, he's like, why are you in this boiler room? And I was like, I like my privacy. He's like, well, your new locker room's my locker room. So now that we're on the road, I change with him, and he's got a private locker room. So it's cool. Like there's a real bond there. And as for in-ring style, people think I'm a bad influence. That's why he's jumping off balconies and stuff. But that's all him. That's his idea.
Really?
He's like, I'm jumping off this balcony. And I'm like, all right, well, people are going to think it's Darby influencing you, but I do not influence him. He does his own thing. So yeah, he's a wild man. But if anything, he's taught me that, at 63 years old, age is just a number. You can be as crazy as you want to be for as long as you want to be, as long as you take care of yourself. So I'm always, doing like all this like recovery and therapy and stuff like that. So it's cool.
So, I mean, what's next for you with AEW? What's coming up?
Just building the brand, I would say. Like that's like what's next for me is connecting to all these other entertainment like worlds. Like I want to really connect more with the action sports world. That's why we got like my skateboard and stuff like that. And I was just at Nitro Circus a couple weeks ago, and I went down their big 40-foot jump, and I backflipped a tricycle over a 20-foot gap. Like it's like really connecting to other forms of entertainment and bringing it into like wrestling. And, you know, because you can connect to the wrestling fans all day. They're always going to be there. But to me, is like to get more eyes on the product. That's what my biggest goal is to get more eyes on the product for AEW. So
I wanted to ask you, and I hope it's not old news, but I think my folks would get a kick out of hearing you were chosen as CM Punk's first opponent when he came to AEW. What did that mean to you? Did you think that was going to happen? I mean, working with a star of that magnitude, could you speak on that?
yeah, I felt like me and Tony had a talk one night, and he said like this is kind of what's planned, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And I feel like I can make anybody look like $1 million out there because I'm gonna get my ass kicked. But the thing was, it was a very high pressure situation because you really think about it. Like, fuck, when he left wrestling, I was a dishwasher. You know, I was homeless living in my car. So like to like think about that, like damn, 7 years is a long time.
Yeah.
And then so when he left, that's where I was in my life. So fast forward now, I'm like, ooh, like it really puts things into perspective how like seriously, you know, people want to see this guy return, and everyone's gonna be dissecting the match and picking it apart. And the last thing I wanted was people to be like, oh, Darby wasn't the right guy for his first match back. I don't know why they put him there, you know. But at the end of the night, like I told myself, like, I was like, I'm gonna put it all on the line. I'll like, you know, it's a lot of people probably this is the first time seeing me. So yeah, we killed it out there. It was super fun. I had a great time.
That's great, man. That's really great. If you don't mind, I just want to follow up with it. I didn't know your backstory about being homeless. So you were struggling on the indies as far as was wrestling the passion, or were you boarding at the same time, or what?
It was everything. I was, you know, so my whole thing was I was like living in parking garages in Atlanta, and I didn't want to get too complacent and be like, oh well, you know, a lot of people don't put 100% into something they do, and I want to like tell myself like you're going to be homeless until you make it, or else you don't deserve to make it. Like so, like I didn't want to get like complacent, get like a side job, and you know start lazy. I'm like I want to put 100% into this, so there's no excuse to fail.
Wow, that's great. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no, I've shared it before. It's not breaking news. I kind of love being homeless. It was cool. Just because you do whatever you want, you know, and like the only thing that sucked about it in the Georgia heat is when you don't go to bed at a right time, that sun's gonna wake you up. There's no escaping it. I would like drive like to a parking garage, like maybe I can like sleep in here. Like even in parking garages, there's no escape from that heat. So
I mean, you brought up fan reaction a little bit in social media. How much do you guys read into that, or like take? Because they could be brutal and they could be, you know, brutally honest with what they like and don't like.
Honestly, I don't really read into much. Like I don't like to. The only times I like to go on social media is to promote Hoodlum, my clothing brand, or upcoming events or skating and all this crazy shit that I like to do. Otherwise, like I could care less because the only people that I care about that has an opinion is like, you know, guys like Sting, guys like Tony Khan. I don't need some 35-year-old dude who lives in his mom's basement's opinion on like how I'm living life, because look at yourself, you know, and I love my life. I love like what I'm doing, and I love like, so I could care less what anybody thinks. It's what I think, and it's what, you know, the guy who runs the company and, you know, fellow people that I look up to think. So
you mentioned your clothing and the film industry. What are some other areas, merchandise-wise, that you'd love to branch into in the future?
See, I'd love to do like energy drinks, stuff like that. You know, I want to get more into that world of, you know, like whether it be Red Bull or Monster, because I see what they do for action sports. I've been up to like Travis Pastrana's house, and his whole compound is pretty much funded from Red Bull. So like I was like, dang, cause I got 14 acres down in Georgia now, and I was like, we built this big skate park in the backyard. We built like these jumps for like dirt bikes and 4-wheelers. So like I want to get more into that world and like give back to action sports and do some like just build crazy stuff in my yard. So have what Travis Pastrana has at his compound, have it at my place. So like I'd say energy drinks and anything like that.
Perfect, thank you.
It sounds like a good fit. I want to ask you about this. You've been called one of the 4 pillars of AEW. Now, is that something you guys all got together? Is there any shows?
No.
Like, what is that?
That's just Max talking out of his ass.
Well, but you got t-shirts. You got merch for it.
Yeah, honestly, like, I don't know. I'm like, if you want to call it that, like, cool. But, like, honestly, like, it's just, I couldn't see myself, wanting to do anything else outside of AEW. Like, right when I first heard of AEW, like, the first thing that was brought up was the word creative freedom. And I was like, I gotta get there. And I was like, so, if it's a 4 pillar, if that's how people want to spin it, cool. Otherwise, like, I'm just a dude that's loving doing whatever I want to do there. So I really
So is it still surreal for you when you do look out and see the kids and the fans with the face paint on? And like, what's been one of your most memorable fan experiences?
I like to do like anything with like the kids. Like whenever I do a lot of cameos. So like you really don't understand how important these birthday shout outs are until you watch the reaction videos of these kids. Like there's kids crying and all this stuff. I'm like, holy crap, like this is really awesome to be a part of. And it's like to take a step back and like really like I remember when I was like 11, 12 and I could I would have like I was a big fan of like Bam Margera or Travis Pastrana, Rob Dyrdek, and so like if I was to be in those shoes now where I can affect someone's life, it's amazing. So I don't take any of it for granted. I do a lot of like behind the scenes stuff. Like I'll like meet up with like kids and surprise them on like breakfast and dinners and stuff like that with my face painted and go out to with their families and stuff. So I don't have an ego. So it's cool. Just have fun with your fans and stuff.
I don't think anything
That's a wrap. So you motherfuckers don't have anything else.
Oh, I'm not done.
Yeah, we can keep going. We're just trying to be like polite with each other, checking out on each
We're
other.
also so looking around like all the time waiting for the signal saying,
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like, you want to make sure you get
Wait, how long is these things?
well,
It sounds like it was 15 or 20
Yeah,
minutes.
usually they don't tell us.
sometimes they say 5 minutes, they
where
go
are you guys?
15.
Delaware.
So you?
Just outside Phoenix.
Chino, California.
Las Vegas.
So you guys all different
Yes.
outlets, yeah.
It's so funny because you were talking about the surreal thing, like with meeting the fans. That's what I was saying to them. I said I'm not Aussie yesterday, so I went and got it like immediately.
Is that new?
Yeah, this is.
Is he here?
Yeah, he was here yesterday.
Did he sign you on?
He did. Yeah.
I was looking at that. I'm like, it looks like an Aussie signature.
Yeah.
Did he draw the bats too?
No, I was thinking I could add to it, but that's what I say. It's like it really does stick with.
Where was he? Was he out here just
He
like?
was doing collaboration.
I saw his big old inflatable thing.
Yeah,
Sure,
so
sure.
he's working with Tom
looking at that, I was like,
McFarlane. So
Have you been to this before? Comic-Con?
No, not San Diego one. No.
No.
are you gonna have any time to do the floor? And, like,
We went to the floor
experiences?
yesterday.
Oh,
Yeah, a little bit on the floor yesterday, and that was fun. But yeah, like I didn't know like our itinerary is like so like boom 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 media. So and if I don't get to explore that much, it's cool. I just that IMDb boat right there, that yacht. I just want to jump off that. County ain't letting me.
Who chose your entrance theme?
I created it, yeah. Me and Wiccaface, he wrote the lyrics, and I gave him this old song from the 80s. I was like, it's an old punk song no one really knows, and I was like, yo, like, can you make a beat that sounds like this? So we like paired up and collaborated on that, and I was like so hyped on how it turned out, because my whole goal was once we got to AEW and they let us like pick our own like music and everything, I was like, I don't want no corny ass song, I don't want no like generic wrestling song. Dun 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 dun. I was like, dude, we gotta make something that like people are like actually like. So yeah.
But a freegan's got to be refreshing. 'Cause, you know what I mean? So much else is locked down sometimes with like this role and that role and.
Our clothing line, my clothing line Hoodlums and like Zoomies now, and and just being able to like on the weekends, like 2 weeks ago, like I said, Nitro Circus, I got to go perform there, and then the day before, then the next day we were in Seattle, like promoting Hoodlum, and like we had a meet and greet in the Zoomies, and they let us like go crazy in the Zoomies, jump off shelves and do whatever we wanted down there. So that to have that and to express myself in and outside the ring, because to me like wrestling isn't the end all be all of my life. I have so much things I like to do out of it. So if I had to be like locked down to just wrestling, I'd lose my mind. So that's like the big thing. Like the creative freedom in and out of the ring. I'm so grateful for it.
Are there any wrestlers you'd like to work with that you haven't yet?
Brian Danielson would be one.
Okay.
Yeah. He'd probably be like the top of the list right now. And so hopefully when Seattle gets to AEW, we can have that match there. It'd be fun. Just we're both from Washington, so it'd be cool.
Since you're into so many adrenaline junkie events, have you had any injuries, broken bones?
Oh, before wrestling, yeah. With skateboarding, I would always get hurt, but like luckily now, like lately, like since AEW started, I haven't been injured. Yeah, no, I've like it's crazy because like right now there's such an injury list in AEW, but like my ass isn't on that list, and it's like a lot of people are like, how isn't he injured? So like a lot of it is just a lot of that, is I'm grateful for it, but yeah, I haven't got a lot of injuries before, but lately, no, I've been good. I feel wonderful. I do a lot of like DDPY and a lot of acupuncture and just stretching and all this stuff. Like I'm very, very, very serious about recovery because a lot of people just think like, oh, like you're not gonna be able to walk when you're 35. I'm like, well, you don't know what I do to take care of myself.
RVD's a friend of mine. They said the same thing about Rob. That all the stuff.
How old's Rob now?
He's great.
How old is he now though? Like
50s.
But he feels good.
Feels great. He has a little hand thing. He broke a bone in his hand, but he tried to do some stem cell stuff for that. But he's great. He's wonderful. And guys like Triple H said you can't wrestle that way for your whole, and he's doing good.
Yeah. Sting, he's like, he never had the craziest in-ring style, but what he's still doing is insane. 63, like, it's crazy. So, if you just take care of yourself, dude, that's like all it pretty much is. So, Robin, he's really into like stretching and yoga.
Oh, always.
He's always a wild man, so.
Well, they gave us the signal, so
I think they gave us the signal.
You guys can still do like the final question.
Okay. I wanted to ask, because you spoke about the adrenaline junkie stuff. Do you skydive? Have you done that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm so numb to skydiving now, it doesn't do anything for me. Like bungee jumping though, I went to the biggest one in North America a couple weeks ago in Oregon, and then that was a cool rush. That was nice. That was like probably my favorite.
Was that the first time you had done it or just that?
No.
I've seen people do this thing where you look like a giant squirrel now. It's not quite skydiving, but you jump off.
I've seen those, yeah. I would like to do that one. Yeah, it's just, I want to get my skydiving license where you can just go by yourself and not tandem with somebody.
Yeah.
And then just do some, whatever, jump off some stuff. But, like, I would say my biggest like, rush, probably up to date, is jumping my house in the car. So,
I have some friends who skydove naked. That's a rush. Literally jump out naked.
they do that at night or in the daytime?
During the day, yeah.
I don't know if I'd do that yet. But.
In California, in Southern California, right out here, there's like young nudists.
A nudist colony, skydiving?
Yep.
They have that?
They have that.
Shit. Have you gone skydiving?
No, brother, I can't hang with that. It's not even the height, it's I don't trust the bag. Like, I know you pack your own or whatever, but I have a hard time having faith that it's not going to be all screwed up.
Some of them they have where they automatically open up when it reaches like certain feet. Yeah. So it's like a safety thing where it has opens up. Because my brother is doing a skydiving course right now where he can get his license. So he was telling me like there was one where it just opens up by itself. So yeah. So if you for whatever reason pass out in the air and you can't pull it, it's gonna open up by itself. So.
If anything, I think I would try one of those giant fans.
Yeah, I was gonna
where you
say,
get the
start with that and
impression
then
of
work your way
skydiving.
out.
See if I can hang with that first, you know?
And I was in the military, so they tell you some story. There's always
You've been
some.
skydiving, right?
Actually, no. In the Air Force, they didn't let us do it, but we'd always hear the stories about. I was with the one guy and his chute didn't open, and he's just pulling your leg, but it's like it's a convincing picture when they're telling you.
Yeah, I've done those indoor skydiving.
Oh, you have? Okay, yeah.
I keep seeing that. I keep seeing it, and I'm like, oh, how does
It's
that
almost the
work?
same price as actually skydiving, so you might as well just do the real thing.
Yeah, that's so.
Yeah.
No, I have this thing about living.
No, that's living is when you get going crazy. There's no better feeling. Yeah, like that's what I was like. Man, like I gotta.
Have you always been into that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah.
What about snow? Do you do the snow sports too? Snowboarding?
I haven't. I've been, I went down some crazy hills on an inner tube, but I haven't been snowboarding yet. I went down to Colorado a couple months ago for Zoomies. Like they have this big corporate event called the 100K, and then they are like, come snowboard the mountain. I was like, man, I just never got around to it, but I wanted to. Like I think anything with snow. I haven't done anything with the water yet, like jet skis or anything like that. But I just want to kind of switch.
Yes, it is.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.